Alright guys, I'm back again and per request, and I'm also taking requests, so anything you want to hear me speak on, please let me know. You actually be doing me a big favor. But the negative effects of social media. I've definitely experienced some negative effects, and I'm sure plenty of you have. There's a great reason for that, and I'm going to go ahead and go down the list. I'm sure there's much more to be added to it, but this is just what I thought of. So the first thing is just comparison, and naturally you're gonna see a lot of the highlight reels through social media, Instagram or Facebook, and so you'll see people with the new house, the new car. They may be your age. They get the new job. They graduate college. All those things, getting married. All of those things. I get on Facebook right now, I'll probably see it. And it can very easily force you to compare yourself. Because, you just focusing on what you're going through in your life, your trials, where you are right now in your journey, and you get to see where people have come along as a result of their journey. You don't get to see the behind the scenes, and that's why it's detrimental, and that's why it forces a lot of us to compare. And also we see people further along the lines, and they're our age, but you don't know how much help they had, or what they even had to go through. A lot of these people, they show you the house and things like that. They probably made a lot of sacrifices that you haven't made, that you aren't willing to make. So you always got to keep that in mind, and you always got to prepare yourself for things like that while you're just leisurely doing something. Because the thing is, a lot of people who do put their highlights on Facebook, they may not even be on Facebook that much, which would bring me to some of my further points. But the comparison aspect is definitely a tough one. Because when you're in your everyday life, people aren't just throwing their highlights at you. You may not talk to too many people. When you're on Facebook, you're exposed to whatever, everybody's highlights, and also some more, negative things, the lowlights of what people may be dealing with, which I'll explain further, but later on. So number 2, anxiety from all of the dings, the flashes, and the potential comments, the blowbacks and things like that. Especially like when you get into heated conversation or so on Facebook, you're going back and forth, you get a little bit of anxiety because Facebook will tell you, hey, this person commented, and then you got this anxiety waiting for the comment to pop up, and or what's this person going to say back, and this and that, or I wonder what they're going to say in response to this controversial post that I make. It definitely does open up the gates for you to be anxious. Definitely opens up the gates for anxiety to creep in. And I'm speaking a little bit more on what you post and things like that, and how that can become a problem. But yeah, man, it's unsettling feeling to not know what people are going to say in response to this and that, and then it's out there for other people to see. So it definitely does open up the gates for you to be embarrassed, to get embarrassed. And the keyboard warriors out there, and they're mighty. Okay, when you can hide behind the keyboard, there's no telling what you can say online, what you can do. But let's see, the next point. I kind of alluded to it, but it forces you to stay in the box for fear of blowback. And I noticed this a couple years ago when I was somewhat popular on Facebook. That has changed, but I used to kind of keep myself in a box where I would kind of make myself agreeable. I wanted to make posts that that everyone who would comment would be like, yeah, totally agree, yeah, definitely. And I just kind of like groomed my dialogue And I really got tired of it because I was worried too much about what other people would say. Even as I tried to tailor it to be as general as possible, I was worried about what people would say. And I wanted to be nice and agreeable, and I wanted everybody to like me, and I wanted to get a lot of likes, a lot of shares, and things of that nature. And when you do get blowback, it kind of forces you to defend yourself. Now, I know people. I know there are people out there who don't feel the need to defend themselves, and I'm getting there. But it's tough to read somebody say something in response to how I feel and things like that, and not want to defend what I'm saying. Because somebody will say something, and then obviously, if they believe this, is going to be other people to back them up and all this and that. Then the name calling happens, and then now you want to go back and forth with people you never met. Now, obviously, you could go on and delete the comments, but then it brings up the conversation of, well, if you want everybody to just agree with you, like, where is that going to get you if you just have a bunch of people who think like you? Now, it's a very thin line between people who think like you and people who are, just on similar paths, who may have similar beliefs and maybe not agree on everything, but that's just a crossroad that you have to face. Like, are you going to try to find people who just agree with everything you say, or do you want to have all types of people on your friend list who may be triggered by something that you put out there? I don't know. I think going into social media, going into having Facebook and things like that, or just every day in particular, when you choose to log on and say what you need to say, you got to put up a bit of a filter within yourself and kind of prepare yourself. Like, all right, there's going to be some blowback. Don't take it personally. You just kind of separate yourself from the internet. We've gotten so attached to social media. It's almost like we exist online. Like we can reach out and touch these people, and like they can reach out and touch us. Like they can, beat us up online and things like that. But more on that later. Reason why I think that they can get to you, and one of the most dangerous reasons, one of the most dangerous aspects of social media. So let's see. Number 4 is that a lot of women use it for thirst traps. I mean, this is social media, and of course you get to pick and choose who you want to talk to and things like that. But it has become a lot less social and more so a worship me type of thing. So I would see like a lot of women, they take provocative pictures and just sexy ass pictures and things like that. And if if they don't like your comment, they try to screenshot you, and they just really try to bait you in. Like, they put their titties all in the picture, and if you comment on how great their titties are, you're a creep. Oh, you're gonna get blocked and all this and that. And people want to say, oh, well, we don't do it for the men and things like that. Well, you know what you're getting yourself into if you add a bunch of men. Men like titties. I like titties. No straight woman can convince me that when they upload pictures of their breasts all in the screen, or their ass all in the screen, that they're not trying to attract men. They may not want any of them, but you can't convince me that you're not trying to attract men. So you mean just put it up? You just putting it up there for what? For nothing? Well, then if that's the case, why are you doing something for nothing? So it's used as a thirst trap, and I don't fall into the trap of, okay, I see how beautiful she is. Now I'm gonna hop in her inbox and try to get some type of ulterior motive going. Try to, I've gotten to the point where maybe it's because I'm older, where I'm like, hey, listen, I'm trying to get to know more about you. If you with it, fine. If not, I don't really see a reason why we should even be friends on Facebook. Like, cause I'm not about to worship you, okay? Most of these other men can do that, not me. I'm not worshiping any goddamn human. No woman. Okay? The closest thing I can get to worship will be as a result of us having a relationship, something that's give and take, and it makes me want to do more for you. It makes me want to praise your name in a sense. But I'm not about to be worshiping some eye candy. I worship your mind. Show me how you think. Okay? But it's used as a thirst trap. Bait us in, and then talk about how thirsty we are. But I think the thirsty ones are the ones throwing the bait. You know what I'm saying? You're hungry. You know, that's why you're throwing out bait. Catch something. I don't know. It's just a concept that I don't like, and I just can't wait till that grows old. But it's probably not, because we're just a bunch of fucking horn dogs who don't know how to prioritize in such a way where we can just see women as women and leave it at that. You know? But definitely a thirst trap, and that just kind of takes a lot of the essence out of Facebook, because it, in a sense, it kind of it's a game. You know, it becomes a game of sorts, and I'm not really one to play around too much. It's just, is it going to be this or is it going to be that? Like, I'm not playing games with you. I'm not chasing around no beautiful. I'm not chasing around looks, because everything can be modified and altered, and you get it from a certain angle and it looks perfect. I'm not playing that shit with you. See me in person. What's up? So number 5. Obviously, very addictive / time consuming. Now, I don't exactly know his role. I want to say that he was the former vice president of Facebook, but he definitely had a big role. And in the interview, he broke it down, and he said that when they were designing Facebook, they teamed up with someone who ran casinos to try to make it as addictive as possible. Now, you may not be one to go to casinos a lot, and you may not have you may have a general understanding of what it's like to be of someone to be addicted to gambling. But let me tell you how bad gambling is. I've heard and I've read that in casinos, the gambling addiction was so bad for some people that they had to throw out some chairs, because as opposed to going to the bathroom, the restroom, these people will use the bathroom on themselves. That's gambling addiction. Okay? When you can't get out of a fucking chair to go use the bathroom, you rather use it on yourself. Right there. And these are the type of people that Facebook teamed up with. They wanted to make Facebook as addictive as possible. And also, I don't really know if there's a correlation between people who have phones, or people who design phones and things. If they teamed up with people who run casinos. But I've noticed, and I don't know a lot about phones, to be honest, but I remember my last phone and this phone, even though I didn't really try to change the settings or anything like that. But my last phone, it had the same ding for everything. So it had the same ding for a text message, had the same ding for email, had the same ding for notifications. So it forced me to check my phone, to keep checking my phone. And I think they said that on average, a person checks his phone 150 times. So if you're on social media a lot, that's probably what you're unlocking your phone to do. At least 100 times, you know. And it happens so fast. It's such a fast thing to do, in this on-demand world. And the scrolling process is so quick. Before you know it, a couple hours then went past. And I like to do this math, and I've done it before, but I'll do it again. But if you spend 2 hours on social media a day, that's a month out of the year. That's 30 days. Okay? I remember there were times where I'll be on Facebook damn near all fucking day. It happens so fast, my friends. You always constantly exposing yourself to content, always checking it out, looking at videos, and the memes, and commenting, going back and forth. that time goes by relatively fast. So that's one thing you would want to consciously get your hands on. And if you're going to be on Facebook, it's best that you put it towards the end of your day, once you accomplish everything. So that way, this is more so, you can call this your downtime. You know, you can commit to be on Facebook for a couple hours or so. And I don't even necessarily recommend using that like while you're on break, because you could do other things. And I'm not perfect with this, by the way, but you could do other things. You could read your books. You could do some journaling, some meditating, whatever. So it's all about managing your time wisely. So just push it off towards the end of the day. That way you don't run the risk of using your willpower to do something as easy as this, as simple as this. It can be such a big time waster. So number 6, invasion of privacy. And I know you pretty much sign your privacy away when you create a Facebook account, but still, it still has that feel. And what exactly do I mean about this? As we willingly put out whatever information we want to, and I'm not even talking about how people can steal your information and identity and all these things and your pictures, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about how you can be on the phone with somebody and you're talking about sewing needles and shit like that. Actually, I just heard somebody talking about this, so this is the example that I'm gonna use. You're talking about sewing kits and things like that. You're like, yeah, whatever, sewing kits. I don't sew, whatever. Then you get on Facebook, and the first ad you see is about sewing needles and shit like that. You already know what I'm talking. You go on Google and you look something up, and you're gonna see it on Facebook shortly after. Okay, that will bring me to my next point, but I don't even understand. I don't even know how many people actually make that correlation, but it's just like kind of scary. And I think the more scarier part about it is that it's definitely going to get worse than that. Like I told you, somebody was having a conversation about sewing kits on Facebook, and then you get on was having a conversation on phone was having a conversation on the phone about sewing kits. Then they get on Facebook, and that's the first thing they see. Now look, my phone is on airplane mode right now as I record this video. If I get on Facebook and I see some goddamn sewing kits, I'm shutting this bitch down. I'm shutting Facebook down, man. I swear to God. But then again, let's see how addictive I am not. Because they always find a way to pull you back in and just leave a goddamn void. It's like your life is out there. It's like you separate from Facebook. It's almost like, damn, I don't have any friends. But that's a different conversation. I could throw that in right there. Okay, here's another one. I didn't write this down. Another harmful effect of social media is that it just makes you less social. When you designate all your social activity towards a platform, you don't feel the need to talk to people in person. It makes us awkward. It makes it so we don't necessarily know how to talk to people face to face. Especially without saying LOL and hashtag this and that. Now I understand I say these things and everyone's not affected by it, but I'm sure a great deal of people are, if not most. A lot of people are. This is just why I speak on it. And maybe me bringing all this up makes you conscious of it, makes you want to move differently. I don't know, but it's just what I noticed. Okay, so the next one is that you're the product that's being sold. This is a very I was about to say very expensive, but this is a very lucrative business. Facebook is $1 billion company, multi-billion-dollar company, and to my point of invasion of privacy, they collectively, what they're selling to advertisers and things like that is, okay, this is how many people use it, this is what they like, these are the pages they like, this is the time that they're on, this is the time that there's not much activity, and it's the product being sold with not much payoff. Yeah, you get to connect to people and things like that, but the more you use Facebook, the more you're building up their platform. So if you aren't using Facebook to make yourself some money, then you're basically an employee of Facebook or a volunteer, because you aren't getting any money. Now I know a lot of you, myself included, we got laid off Facebook. We might say it's worth it because of that. But when I think of all the videos that I put on Facebook and things like that, because I put a lot of videos on Facebook, and it's the reason why I'm on YouTube now. It's because it just wasn't getting any traction, and Facebook won't show your videos to about 7% of your friends, so you don't even really have the opportunity for it to get any momentum, So then you gotta spam people, or you gotta pay for ads, you gotta, jump through all types of fucking hoops. When on YouTube, it's pretty much laid out for you, okay? This is your channel. Build it up the way you see fit. Affect the search engine in such a way where people can find you. Just keep putting out value, and YouTube will do the rest for you. Facebook is not like that, man. And I can't wait until there's a better social media platform where it benefits the people who use it the most. Where there's some type of payoff. Because we're all ambassadors in a sense. We all, we got the Facebook apps on our phone and the Messenger, and hey, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up through the Messenger, things like. We're ambassadors of the brand, and for most of us, it's not really a big payoff, So let's see. The final one is that it's basically non-discriminatory television. Because here's the thing, and this is definitely the reason why you shouldn't wake up and get on social media when your mind is most impressionable, is that you are affected by what you feed yourself. As far as your diet and what you consume mentally. So you are affected by the media that you allow into your mind, by the thoughts, by the words. But you have no control over that when you're on Facebook. As you start to obviously you can start to delete people and things like that, but a lot of people are wild cards, man. You never know what's gonna come out the woodworks. I've seen some fucked up things on Facebook that I cannot erase out of my mind. I don't really want to speak on it, man, but you just see bad things, man. You see people hang themselves. You see rape. You see women getting beat. You see all types of triggering things. You see people saying, "Oh, I wish I would die. I'm about to kill myself." You read poor writing. It's wasteful material. You read bitter stuff. You read people just talking shit about successful people, and your mind is affected by that. Don't for once think that you aren't affected by what you consume, because you definitely are. And that's the reason why the top CEOs in this world read on average 50 books a year, because it very much makes a difference what you feed your mind. You got to stand guard at your mind, my friends. Facebook doesn't necessarily allow you to do that. Social media doesn't necessarily allow you to do that. Now, again, you can start weeding through it, and I guess that would help you. But we're all wild cards, and there's no telling where negativity is going to come from. And in the real world, outside of social media, we can find ways around that. You know what I'm saying? Social media, not so much. So, and seeing that how that is the case, then I would advise everyone, including myself, to double down on things that eradicate the non-discriminatory television effect that social media has. And you do that by obviously focusing on your meditation and listening to your motivational audios. You want to journal, and you want to read the how-tos, the non-fiction books, things of great triumph. I mean, even introduce a lot of, some comedy into your life to remind you to laugh every once in a while. And so here's my video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I don't necessarily know if you got any value out of this, but I hope so. Hope this encourages you to maybe spend less time on social media, put more good into the social media world, and just do more for yourself, so you're not affected by the effects of social media. All right, take care. Thank you.